Better late than never, I think. I don't know. Well, barely got on today because I don't know how long this internet connection is going to last or my power on my laptop, but I'm out. And somewhere behind me, sorry, audio listeners, somewhere behind me is a shot of the beautiful skyline of New York, but you may not be able to see that because it's also foggy. But you got me, my big head, and trees, and hopefully you can hear me okay. But welcome to Wicked Radio. I appreciate you so much. On the road again in New York because my daughter, and I'll give you a little update on that, recovering well from some surgery, and I have to thank the really truly incredible staff and people. We're here at NYU Langone. That's the medical center. Amazing people. Just an amazing, everything you doubt like a particular industry in the healthcare industry or anything. Insurance is a different issue, but we'll talk about that later. But there are some amazing, amazing people that really, truly care about what they do. But you still got to advocate for what you do, too. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I'll update you in a second. But also some stuff to talk about. I woke up this morning and I said, oh, my God, he did it. Republicans have been talking for 50 years to try to defund NPR, and it's going to happen. Trump signed an executive order last night. You know how happy I am about this. And I know I'm biased coming from the broadcasting world, but still, we'll talk about that as well. Also, you want to talk about wasting taxpayer money. We got to get into this UFO hearing that is underway right now on Capitol Hill. I had hopes for this. I truly did. We all want life to be out there. We all really want it. I want it to be true so bad. It's not going to come from these knuckleheads. Absolutely not. I spent way too much time looking at the YouTube video of the people in this hearing headed up by Representative Congresswoman Luna. These are scam artists. I'm sorry. These are the people that they chose to represent. I'll give you a perfect example of that guy, what's happening here. And also, looking forward to the weekend, get ready for the nerds, because May the 4th is on Sunday. It's a big thing for Star Wars fans and everybody else. So if you see people walking down your neighborhood with pretend lightsabers, you know what happened. All right, let's get into it. Thanks for finding me, as always. Some little bit of business here. Thanks for finding Wicked Wisdom on all the social media platforms, on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff, and the audio platforms, wherever you like to get your podcasts, wherever you like to get them. Right there, we post it every single day. Every single day, we're live streaming with Wicked Radio anyway, but there we are. And my DMs are always, always open. We did a little Q&A on Monday before I took off for New York, and that was fun. Just collected the mailbag of questions you guys had for me, so anytime you want to do that, direct message on any of those platforms I just mentioned. Those are available for you, as always. All right, let's get into it. Thanks for being here, as always. I hope you have a wicked awesome Friday. Little update, and here's my little Wicked Wisdom reminder to myself that I realized last night, and I just thanked the incredible staff here at NYU Langone. Just amazing people who care, who love what they do. But you know that old expression, good people are hard to find? Even in the best possible company, organization, business, whatever it is, team, you're going to have some people that aren't probably up to the standards of the other people. And I'm not saying that happened here. I'm just saying it's a good reminder that you have to advocate for and speak up for anybody you're taking care of. I talked about that yesterday. If you ever doubt yourself as a parent or caregiver of anybody, just ask yourself one question. Would you go to the end of the earth for the people you love? And I'll guarantee the answer is yes. The answer is always yes. I know that's exactly what you would say. Along those same lines, it's to have an extra set of eyes and ears, especially like in a medical situation like this, and like I said, everything's going great so far with my daughter, you still have to speak up for that person, because they won't always, they'll try to play nice. You know what I mean? They'll try to say everything's fine when you may be watching this situation, you know it's not fine. Be an advocate for your loved ones as well. Don't only go the extra mile for them. Speak up for them as well, because you may run into one person in the organization who isn't up to standards. You never know. So that was a good reminder for myself last night as well. Let's get into the stuff. What? Christmas come early. For old Wicked Willie over here anyway, okay, full disclosure, you know how biased I am, coming from the media world and corporate broadcasting for, good God, most of my life. But so I've always been mad at like public radio. They never have to compete for ratings, ever. Clicks, nothing, because they're publicly funded with our tax money. Well, that's one thing. The real, true reason why I've always had a grudge against NPR, PBS, whatever it is because, yes, it's publicly funded, and the origin of this thing was to have, this is how it was designed, an unbiased public broadcasting system for the American people to let them know what's going on, especially during emergency crises. Well, we know what that turned into. turned into a very incredibly, probably the most biased media outlet in American broadcasting history, number one, along with the fact that it is taxpayer funded, and they were able to get away with it, and they were subsidized, and they never had to worry about ratings or anything else. Now, I'm perfectly fine with a media outlet that has a slanted, particular point of view, whatever it is. That's what MSNBC is. That's what Fox is. That's fine. They compete for their own ratings. That's the product. We have a choice to watch that, or a choice not to pay for that and not watch their commercials. We never had a choice with NPR. I never had a choice whether or not to send whatever small percentage of my taxpayer money or your taxpayer money is to them. Never had a choice. That's why for years I've been hoping for this. And useless Republicans in Congress have said for years that they were going to defund NPR. Never got it done. 50 years this has been going on. Trump got it done last night. All it took was one swipe of a pen with his seismograph-looking autograph, and it's defunded, and they're going to have to compete. Wait till you hear this weekend in the Sunday talk shows, and God, you know what might be fun? For the first time in years, I might actually tune into NPR to hear them rail against this. That's going to be a blast. Now they're going to, you can't have taxpayer money and be that biased and have that much of an agenda. It's some horrifically politically motivated content that they produced over the last few decades. I mean, just absolutely awful, which is one thing. But we're paying for it? Absolutely not. And I will tell you this too, and I swear to you, I would be just as against NPR if they were slanted the other way, if we're paying for it. You should be able to be non-biased, just give the information if you're taking taxpayer money and not do what they've done for years. So good. It's a good thing. Don't let anybody tell you that it's, he's controlling the information. He took money away from NPR. Don't ever listen to those people because they're idiots and they don't understand the inside baseball and how this works. NPR should be defunded, will be defunded until they come around again or make some kind of a pledge to be non-biased. But I don't know why we're funding them in the first place. This is not, this isn't the early days of radio or TV. They don't need taxpayer money. And let's make them compete for a change to see how many people are actually watching or listening to NPR. So I'm so happy about this. I really am. Speaking, no. That wasn't the only thing. Something else just got defunded. I love streamlining this stuff. I just love it. As a fiscal conservative and a constitutional conservative, Harvard just got defunded. We're not going to be paying for that anymore. They're going to have to rely on their endowments. And Trump just sent this out on Truth Social, and he said, well-deserved, because of the horrifically anti-American factory that they've become over the last few decades, too. So he's been busy. He's been busy with that. And if Harvard can have their money and their slush fund taken away from taxpayer money, and they're going to have to rely on, admissions and endowments and contributions on their own, good. He's right, too. Very well deserved. There's no doubt about it. All right. Speaking of the Trump show, it's not going to be all Trump, I promise you. We'll get into some weekend stuff, too. But it was very interesting. Speaking of Harvard, but the exact opposite, probably, the University of Alabama. If you're a fan of Alabama, roll tide. But he did the commencement address. Now, you're wondering, how does one particular school get the president in the middle of the week to do the commencement address? Well, it's when you're really good friends with Nick Saban, Alabama legend. That's how. Even though he's not coaching there anymore, he has all the connections. He's probably still on the advisory board for Alabama, I think. I don't know. But that's how it all worked. Trump had some real key words of wisdom, though, and it was interesting. I cherry-picked this little piece of his commencement address because it really sums up exactly what the guy's going through. And it sums up what we've been talking about here on the live stream. He's acting like a guy that's working for legacy, not somebody that cares about being reelected. And boy, what a difference that is. Usually presidents in a second term, they're lame duck from the beginning. This guy's working for the long term. We always say it's like short-term pain for long-term gain, for the good of the country. That's what he's going through. And listen to these words and tell me that this guy cares about what people say about him, because I don't think so. And he's right. And that's how you actually get things done.
It's never easy, and the closer you get to success, the more ferociously those with a vested interest in the past will resist you. They want to resist.
Isn't that true for everybody? Really, truly? Isn't that true for all of us? Have you ever noticed that? You ever notice when you level up, as my kids like to say, you level up in your career or an exercise program, or you're losing a lot of weight, or something's really going well for you and you had to really kind of isolate yourself and go through? Did you ever notice the reaction you get from not your real close friends, but just normal people you work with or whatever? They'll give you the face-to-face kind of, oh, you're doing great, good for you, congratulations. Do they mean it? No. A lot of people won't. And the closer you get to that kind of success, you can apply a lot of what he said to real life and how to interact with other people. Sometimes you just got to go it alone. And that guy, love him or hate him, in his view of what's good for the country and the American people, which I have never doubted his love for, he's going for it. It explains a lot, those words, those few words he said last night in the University of Alabama Roll Tide commencement address. What a difference, huh? In one night, does the commencement address for Alabama and takes money away from Harvard. If that doesn't tell you his mindset, I don't know if anything else will. All right, speaking of wasted money, I got to get to this. I waited forever to address this, the entire thing, about UFOs, now they're called UAPs, POPs, SOS, POOP, I don't care what the hell you call it, UFOs. We all want to believe something's out there because it would be so cool. I happen to believe something's out there. Not what people are saying are out there. And sure as hell, not what these people in this ridiculous congressional hearing are saying is out there. Because I went into this and I watched the entire hearing video last night. I had a lot of time to kill waiting here at the hospital. Oh my God, this was a joke. The people that are there, and let me give you a little example of the people that are there from some of the people that actually kind of can't stand them because they try to debunk all this stuff. And thank God they're there because this stuff is just getting ridiculous. So I thought these would be people that had concrete evidence, real, true, hard science, maybe some military experts to find out what or what not is being hidden from us. Here's some of the folks that are in the hearing. I won't go by all the names. It's going to take too long. One of the guys that was speaking here and presented some what he thought were, I think it was like a crop circle kind of thing. He claims he used his psychic powers to turn into an angel. Yeah. And maybe he did, but this is a guy at the hearing. By the way, taxpayer funded, but whatever. Another guy that was there on the panel claims that alien spirits live in his house. This is all true. These are all people that they're on the record as claiming these things. These are the experts that they brought in to explain the UFO or UAP phenomenon. Another guy, no, this is a woman, I'm sorry, claims demons spoke, no, him, a guy, claims demons spoke to him inside his head and his house was haunted by ghosts. Representative Tim Burchett was there too. He's the guy from Tennessee. He's a Republican. He thinks the Bible is evidence of UFOs and the literal devil is trying to stop UFO truth. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Representative Eric Burleson, another Republican. He's there. Believes UFOs could be angels. And then we have Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who's chairing this thing. She believes UFOs are from another dimension. And there's a Christian religion connection. It's very interesting, the religious connection to this, which may be real. I don't know. I'm just telling you, there are a lot of wacky people who are involved with this thing. Case in point, one of the guys claimed to have a spooky UFO. He had a whole, from the art department, he had it all printed out, a giant circular thing with a shadow on the ground, and it's supposedly giant. He claimed that it's a spooky floating UFO. Just for some sound to this guy, here's how he presented it. I don't know who put the background music on this. I have no idea, but here's the clip I have, and this is as this guy was presenting the picture of the spooky UFO, big circular thing in the middle of, middle of the country somewhere, with the shadow on the ground. He says to prove that it's floating. Here's what he was saying.
It is a lenticular object, and when you look at the shadow being cast, it is significantly large. And
large.
The object potentially is anywhere between 600 to 1,000 feet in diameter.
Big. Within hours last night. People on Reddit, and it also came from X, mostly, debunked this thing on their own. Regular people with enough common sense to put side by side the exact same picture of simple irrigation circles. And it was explained away within hours of this UFO hearing that they had last night, where this guy got up there in front of members of Congress and these other loons, who charge, by the way, for their speaking engagements. Keep that in mind. And explained that they're simple irrigation circles with all kinds of different angles, and debunked this within hours. Internet sleuths. With enough evidence to prove that this guy is absolutely full. But this is what he brought to the table for the UFO, UAP, PEOP, whatever the hell you want to call this thing, before Congress yesterday. Here's what I think now. Here's what I truly think. And we all want to believe so bad, right? We see something funky in the sky and you see all these things. You're like, I want to believe so bad. And I do too. I want to believe so badly life is out there. Here's my first point. I don't have time to worry about that. We got a lot of problems. In the streets of Manhattan yesterday, over there, I walked by and stepped over no less than 10, 12 homeless people in the street. And I would bet you a large percent of those folks are veterans, homeless veterans. I want to concentrate on that, not what this is. And if there is anything, if this is the big hearing that they fought for years for, to try to bring to the American people to get the truth is out there, like the X-Files. And these are the knuckleheads that they brought for a hearing. Here's my new thought. I don't think there's anything. I believe truly there's life. There has to be life in the other side of the universe, whatever. But it's not what these loons are claiming. I don't believe that anymore after hearing this. I truly don't. I think they're con artists. And I think the reason why they were brought aboard is to just throw a shiny object in the corner and get people who want to believe so bad that there's something there and reel in the large circles, which turned out to be irrigation circles. That's what I believe. But here's what I really believe. The reason why this has been so mysterious, and how many millions and millions of individual cell phone cameras are out there, just in this country, let alone the world, and no one's ever got a clear shot of anything, ever, for decades, never. That's your first thought. What if all this has been perpetuated, though, in this mystery that, well, the governments know, they know something, but they're not telling us. What if the real truth is that they've found absolutely nothing, zilch, nada, but they've pretended that there is something and pretended to hide it to make our foreign adversaries think that we have an alien weapon? Oh, you laugh. Well, that's just as legit as any other theory that's out there. What if there's absolutely zero, zilch, nothing, but the government keeps teasing these little things and bringing like dopes like this before a congressional hearing to make Russia, China, Iran think we got something. We can blast them into another universe. Just food for thought. That's all I'm saying. But this thing, don't go on YouTube and watch the whole hearing because you'll pull your hair out. But look into some of the loons that are being exposed that were there, because they are just, I think a lot of them are just fraudsters. They're the new snake oil salesmen. Honest to God. It's just nuts. And I think I'm worked up about it because I wanted something to come out of this. I really did. All right, speaking of another universe, are you ready? Are you ready for Sunday? Here they come. Here they come. May the 4th be with you. It's Sunday, actually. It's a big Star Wars day. There's all kinds of... I think I read this. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to it lately. I think they showed the 25th anniversary showing of Revenge of the Sith in theaters this weekend. I think. Did I read that right? I don't know. Fact check me on that. But you can check that out. Star Wars is fun. And if you're like me in Gen X and, you grew up in the late 70s and 80s, you grew up with Star Wars. Big part of my life. Like huge. And it's become such a huge part of our culture, our American pop culture. It's a big thing. And, I think the Disneyization of Star Wars has kind of stunk, for sure, because I think they kind of made some lame ones. But I will say, for my kids who are now in their early 20s, it was cool to share the Star Wars story with them that I grew up with. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of cool. But if you see some nerds walking down the street with some pretend lightsabers or dressed up like Yoda, just saying, you know what happened. Don't freak out. It's not any aliens like these doofuses at the UFO hearing in Congress found. It's just because of May the 4th. All right. I'm out of material, and I think my internet connection or my power on my laptop is about to die. I still don't think you can see the skyscrapers behind me because it's too foggy or whatever, but I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. I'm still going to be in New York City next week, but the audio podcast will be there. Download it, as always, on all your favorite podcast platforms. And the Wicked Radio live stream replay is on all of the Wicked Wisdom social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, and here on X, and all that good stuff, as always. And like always, my DMs are always open if you want to interact with me, too. We'll do some Q&A catch-up things, either daily or we'll just do a Saturday special for that. I don't know. Who the heck knows? I only know one thing. The takeaway is, don't let fraudulent organizations take your taxpayer money or anything. Stand up for your loved ones, too. That was the first takeaway. And have a wicked awesome Friday and a wicked awesome weekend. I appreciate you so much for being here, and I will update you as we go. I don't know where I'm going to be in New York doing this live stream on Monday, but I'm going to do it as long as I have an internet connection and some power. Thanks so much. Have a wicked awesome weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the 4th. We'll talk to you soon.